What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So if you have been following my channel for at least the past few months, then you've probably seen at least one or two of my odd facts videos. These are videos where I cover odd and weird facts about anything and everything in the Pokemon world, and I have done a ton of these videos because not only have you guys supported them and have been so amazing to do so thank you for that, but I also have really enjoyed them as well. With that in mind, however, in today's Odd Facts video, we're going to be covering something a little different, and that would be Pokemon leaks. Now, whenever there is a new Pokemon game coming out, as I'm sure you all know, there are always tons of leaks, both real and fake, that accompany it. And even if they are fake, they're always really interesting, and they always add to the hype that comes with the announcement and reveal of any brand new Pokemon game. However, there are some sides to these leaks, and even just some leaks in particular from Pokemon's history that are very weird and odd, and I really wanted to share the story behind them with you guys today. And that's where a bit of the difference comes in with this episode as opposed to other ones, because like I said, some of these leaks were fake and therefore can't technically be counted as fact, but the story behind them is what's really interesting and juicy and most importantly odd, so that is what we're going to be highlighting today. However, with all of that being said, I have talked long enough, so why don't we go ahead and just get right into it. Now, this first one we're going to cover is a fake leak, but it's actually a fake leak that Nintendo themselves created. In the April 1999 issue of Nintendo Power, Nintendo decided to join in on the fun of all of the crazy rumors that were flying around about the Pokemon games at the time and make a fake leak in their official magazine stating that you could actually make Dragonite evolve into Yoshi. Yes, I said Yoshi from Mario. The magazine put out an entire page including screenshots stating how players could accomplish this. First off, you needed to have two people who both have beaten respective copies of Red and Blue and both had all 151 Pokemon caught. From there, the player playing Red version needed to take that Dragonite to Cerulean Cave and take it all the way to the point where you originally found Mewtwo and then use a Firestone on the Dragonite. Not surprisingly, it would say not available when you tried to do it, but you were instructed to do it anyways, and according to this leak, the screen would glitch out and then evolve into Yoshi. Now, I really love that Nintendo had the sense of humor to make something like this, even all the way back when their series was brand new, and I really love that they went to the extent to make a Yoshi sprite inside of a Pokemon game. I just think this is a phenomenal joke all the way around, and I definitely would love to see Nintendo do something like this for another April Fool's Day at some point in the future. Now, if you're a Pokemon fan and you've been on the internet since about last June, then I can almost guarantee you've heard about the Gold and Silver beta demo leak, where a bunch of unused content from the original version of Gold and Silver was leaked on the internet. Now, this is obviously very well known, so it can't really be constituted as odd. However, the leak itself and the story of how it came to be is definitely odd, because the demo that was actually leaked was the demo that was playable at the 1997 Nintendo Space World, meaning that this demo had not seen the light of day in any way, shape, or form outside of that event for almost 21 years. And on top of that, the ROM of the demo was actually dumped online by an anonymous user who still to this day we do not know the identity of. So the fact that it happened so randomly, seamlessly overnight for something that's over 20 years old, and it was leaked by an anonymous source really makes the whole situation fascinating and really strange as well. Many people have speculated that it was actually Game Freak themselves that intentionally leaked this demo to the public in order to build up hype around the Pokemon franchise. Obviously, it would be a very smart piece of marketing for them to do so, and this was also right around the time when Game Freak were publicly leaking other beta Pokemon such as Gorochu and other beta Generation 1 Pokemon that never made it into the game. As crazy as it sounds, I definitely could see this thing happening. I feel like Game Freak is smart enough and sly enough to pull that sort of thing off, and even if we might never know the true identity of that leaker, it's still going to remain a very important and very fun part of Pokemon's history till the end of time. Speaking of major leaks, I'm also pretty sure that you all know of the infamous Sun and Moon Final Starter Evolution leak that happened during the promotional period of Sun and Moon. Just to recap, Pokemon Sun and Moon were initially revealed in February of 2016, and the initial forms of the starter Pokemon were revealed sometime around May. However, shortly after this, in late June/early July, a leak popped up on the internet detailing concept art of the final evolutions of the Alola starters, and even though it was widely believed to be untrue at the time, it ended up being 100% accurate, being leaked months ahead of time before the final evolutions were officially revealed shortly before the game's release. Now, once again, like I said, I'm sure you know of this leak, but it's the story behind it that's interesting and what I wanted to highlight. The reason why this leak had the capability of happening in the first place is because it came from China. Pokemon Sun and Moon were the very first Pokemon games to be localized for a Chinese audience, and as such, Game Freak obviously employed a brand new Chinese localization team, which not only were new to the Pokemon way of doing things, but were also new to the fact that Pokemon fans are kind of crazy when it comes to getting their hands on information. And it was for this inexperience in all likelihood that, for one reason or another, this image ended up getting leaked onto the internet, and whether you believed it or not at the time, it created tons of discussion, tons of speculation, and tons of just energy in the Pokemon franchise, so it ultimately probably was for the best, but at the same time, a major part of the game obviously got spoiled here, and it'll be interesting to see if something like that even has the chance to happen again once Generation 8 is revealed later this year. Now, before Generation 7 was a thing, there was actually another major leak during the generation before it, during the time of X and Y. However, this wasn't a leak of some concept art, rather it was actually a leak of the whole freaking game about a week or so before the official release, when stores broke the street date and began selling their copies of the game early. Now, much like the Sun and Moon leak, this is a very well-known thing, and I'm sure many of you watching this video already are aware that this happened. However, it's one of the stories behind this particular leak that is really interesting and odd. One of the first people to ever get information about X and Y out on the internet once the street date was broken was an Instagram user by the name of Costhedon, and he was leaking pictures and videos almost from the moment he got the game. The real kicker here, though, is that once Nintendo found out that Costhedon was leaking the game, they were actually able to find the individual game store where this copy was sold, and then they actually flew someone out on a plane to confront this specific game store in person and take the game back from Costhedon with their own hands. Once Nintendo showed up on his doorstep, though, Costhedon understandably willingly gave up his copy in order to potentially save the job of his friend who worked at the game store, who actually sold him the game early in the first place. Now, while this is an interesting tale, let it also be a lesson to potential leakers that Nintendo does not mess around when it comes to leaks, and they will literally show up on your doorstep if you try to mess with the release of their game. Now, for this next one, we're actually going to go back even further into Pokemon's history and take a look at a leak from the days of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. According to Bulbapedia, during the pre-release days of Diamond and Pearl, there was actually an official Pokemon Diamond and Pearl webpage on the Yahoo Kids website. It was here that various developers of the game, including Shigeki Morimoto, Junichi Masuda, and Ken Sugimori, would give various details about the game, and in particular, there was actually one unnamed female employee that actually suggested on the website that the starter types for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were going to be Fighting, Psychic, and Dark this time around, instead of the normal Fire, Grass, and Water. Obviously, however, there was some kind of mistranslation or miscommunication, or maybe it was just some kind of joke that the English-speaking world thought was real. We can really only speculate at this point, but imagine being a kid at that time looking at the Yahoo Kids website and reading a statement that seemingly insinuated that the starter types were going to be changed to Fighting, Psychic, and Dark. Now, personally, as an 11, 12-year-old kid, I did not have internet in my house at this time, but if I saw this, I know sure as heck I would have freaked the flip out, and it would have been a seriously huge deal, so I can only imagine what the hype was like amongst all the other 11, 12-year-old kids who actually knew this for themselves at the time. Now it's actually time to get into those Koro leaks that I mentioned earlier, and this one is a bit of a funny story that really just goes to show you how much times have changed. Back during the time when this Korokoro leak was first making its way onto the internet, the online publication Engadget wrote an article about it, and just reading that article, which is literally from August 7th of 2006, you can really tell how much times have changed when it comes to not only online internet coverage, but coverage of the Pokemon franchise and new games as a whole. When talking about the Korokoro leak, the article states, "Who doesn't like Inside Men? They get you all sorts of good stuff, including scans of the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl starters." This particular Inside Man, who none of us know, got these scans out days before the Japanese magazine they are featured in, Korokoro, goes up on the shelf for sale. That's some skill. Now, the thing I really get a kick out of with this article is that they call this person who leaked the Korokoro scan an inside man, and they say that he has some skill. I just find this really funny when Korokoro leaks are such a standard part of our day-to-day news coverage for Pokemon, to the point where they're not even really considered actual leaks. They're just something that is expected each and every month during the promotional period of a new Pokemon game. So the fact that back during 2006, a simple Korokoro scan was considered some Hacker Man level type stuff just really goes to show you how far we have come in the coverage of Pokemon games and how far the internet has come in getting out information to the entire world as well. Now here's one that actually does not have to do with a main series Pokemon game and instead has to do with Super Smash Bros. Instead. It was actually leaked by Masahiro Sakurai himself through interviews that Mewtwo was actually considered for the original Smash Bros. Game before it was cut. Now, it's not stated specifically as to why Mewtwo was cut, that just due to a number of issues it was unable to make the final game. However, it doesn't really stop there, because another Pokemon that was highly believed, or highly leaked at least, to be in the original Smash was Meowth. At some point in time several years ago, it was leaked that Meowth was originally a playable character in Super Smash Bros. Before he was scrapped in favor of Jigglypuff. And this can definitely be believed very easily considering how iconic Meowth is in the Pokemon anime. However, even though it doesn't seem like it's known where this leak actually came from, it does not seem like Meowth was ever really considered, considering that there is no mention of Meowth originally being a playable character in any kind of document or interview or official source that can possibly be found at this current time. Now, usually when we're waiting for a new Pokemon game, we will get leaks about what the next Pokemon game is going to be. Sometimes they are real, but most of the time they're fake. However, even in those instances, they leak what the next Pokemon game is going to be. It's going to be a new generation with new Pokemon, it's going to be in this place, yada yada, you know, the pretty standard stuff. However, in late 2015, one of the more odd leaks that we've ever gotten, and one of the more interesting ones at that, made its way to the internet shortly before the official reveal of Generation 7, and that was a leak specifying details on the alleged and infamous Pokemon Z. Pokemon Z was believed to be a sure thing for the longest time, virtually up until the point when Sun and Moon were first leaked a day before their reveal. With that being said, however, some legitimate details seemed to come to light when it was stated in a leak that Pokemon Z was actually going to feature the second half of the Kalos Pokedex that would actually appear in the southern part of Kalos that seemed to be absent from the original X and Y. This leak attempted to explain the small number of Pokemon introduced in the 6th generation, which made a lot of sense because everyone believed that there had to be something more there, because there was just no way that Pokemon would ever make a Pokedex that was that small. We had just never seen that sort of thing before, and we were very puzzled by it at the time. In fact, an entire leaked list of the new Pokemon that were set to appear in Pokemon Z was the major featured part of this leak, and it included almost 70 new Pokemon, which basically brought the new Kalos total up to 140, which obviously made a lot more sense for Pokemon at the time. And this list actually included some really cool looking ideas, such as another fire-water type in addition to Volcanion, a couple of fairy poison types, and even a fire ice type. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to highlight this leak is that even though it's fake, it's definitely one of my more favorite leaks in recent memory, and it's very odd as well. Like I said, it not only added on to the Pokédex of an existing generation, which we have never seen before, but it also gave us an entire leaked dex, and I definitely think it deserves to be mentioned and remembered for that, so that's why I wanted to bring it up here. Okay, so this next one comes straight from my guy PD Winnel, so all of the credit for not only the leak, but the footage that I'm showing on screen right now goes completely 100% to him. During the pre-release period of Sun and Moon, PD Winnel stumbled upon something that seemed like a 100% guaranteed, surefire thing at the time. Messing around on the Japanese Pokemon Sun and Moon website, it actually seemed at the time that PD Winnel had stumbled upon the typings for the final evolutions of Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio well before their final evolutions were ever revealed. Mr. Winnel, as I hear he is known in professional circles, was able to accomplish this by exploiting the assets of the various pages of the Japanese Sun and Moon website for the starters Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. He actually took the type icons that were present on each one of these pages, and when manipulating the URLs for these type icons, PD Winnel was able to uncover a fighting type icon and a ground type icon, which was especially significant because it wasn't like there were other type icons for the rest of the types that were just sitting on the Pokemon Sun and Moon website. It was only these specific type icons, in addition to the fire, water, grass starter types, that popped up, and any attempt to get other type icons to pop up resulted in a page not found website page popping up. So naturally, given this scenario, PD Winnel actually believed, and frankly I 100% believed this at the time as well, because it was just so beyond convincing, and still is even to this day, that he actually had found out the typings for the final evolutions of the starter Pokemon. He believed, based on this evidence, that Rowlet was going to either remain a grass flying type or evolve into a grass ground type, Litten would either evolve into a fire ground type or stay pure fire, and Popplio would evolve into a water fighting type. Now, obviously this entire thing wasn't true in any way, shape, or form, but the reason why it made this odd leaks video is because just how convincing it was for not being true. Like I said, it absolutely seems like, given all of this evidence, that this is beyond 100% confirmed. This definitely looks like one of those leaks where Pokemon just kinda messes up and lets something slip out, but obviously, for whatever reason, it did not end up happening that way, and for some reason, there was just a random ground type icon and a random fighting type icon on the website, and it's just really unknown as to why this was if it wasn't actually true. And the last leak that we have to talk about in this video has to do with Detective Pikachu, because of course you can't really go too far these days without running into Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu, which is a phrase I've already said like 5 times in the past 30 seconds, is shaping up to be a pretty big sub-franchise for Pokemon at this point, which began to take shape in 2016 when the game was first released in Japan. However, this little branch of the Pokemon franchise has actually been in the works for much longer. The Detective Pikachu game was actually first leaked by the Pokemon Company in a Japanese TV show all the way back in 2013, where we actually got some very rough concepts for the game, as well as a very nightmarish demonstration of some Pikachu motion capture that was being prepared for the game at the time. This was over 2 years before the game came out in Japan, and over 4 years before it came out for the rest of the world, which, for a smaller spin-off game such as this, is an incredibly long time to go from concept to creation. With that said, however, given the fact that the Detective Pikachu movie is coming out later this year and it actually looks really good, it looks like all of that waiting time is going to pay off. But between that ginormous amount of development time from the initial leak to the nightmarish motion capture definitely makes this one of the more interesting and odd leaks that we've ever seen from Pokemon. And there we have it, guys. Those were 10 odd facts about Pokemon leaks. Now, I don't know about you guys, but even if a leak is fake, I still think they are worth remembering as long as they're interesting, because they definitely add a lot to the enjoyment of the Pokemon franchise as a whole when it comes to waiting for new games and speculating for new games. So I really just wanted to highlight some of the more odd and interesting leaks that we've seen from the past in a dedicated video. If you guys enjoyed the video though, be sure to give it a like and let me know down in the comments below what you think of these leaks, if you remember seeing them for the first time when they were actually first leaked, and if you have any other fond leaks that you remember that you would like to share. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and if you like Pokemon music as well, consider following me on Spotify, because any support there goes to directly support the channel here. With all that being said though, I will be back on Saturday for another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as it goes live. And with all of that being said, you know I love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all have a great day, and with all that being said, once again, I'll smell you guys later.